coming to you. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. We appreciate it. Here we are together again on the radio. We are in Seattle at the studios of 100.7 The Buzz, a station we've been on now. This is our 10th year on the air. And tomorrow our show will be coming to you live from the Ballard Firehouse. We're going to have our big pre-Thanksgiving listener party called Stuff This. Ballard Firehouse, 5429 Russell Avenue Northwest in Seattle. And may I tell you that, as always, we will bring hot chicks in the back door. If you're a Seattle 9 or 10, we're not hoping for miracles here that there would be an L.A. 9 or a 10, but if you're a Seattle 9 or a 10, you can call Dean right now at 1-800-5800-TOM, and Dean will put you on the list. But remember, if you're not a 9 or a 10, you won't get in. So don't even try unless you're hot. Don't. Many lucky people have won tickets to this event. Every event we've done at the Ballard Firehouse has been off the hook. Every one. This is someplace you want to be tomorrow between 3 and at least 7. Tomorrow. The doors will open sometime around 2 whenever we're done with our sound check and whenever we feel like opening the doors. We always recommend you get there early. All right? But we've always had great shows, and the ticket rates they've been doing here in Seattle have been incredible. Everybody's asking me for tickets. I've been in town now 12 hours, and people are coming up to me on the street and asking me for tickets. I was at lunch today doing a little sales schmooze thing. A guy saw me through the window of the restaurant where I was having lunch, Cutters, and came into the restaurant, asked for an autograph, and then asked me for tickets. Like I would have tickets. But Gary, as the producer of the show, has the power to get you in. But you have to be a 9 or a 10. So call Dean at 1-800-5800-TOM right now. Right now. Or you can email us at tom@blowmeuptom.com. Simple as that. Thanks for being part of our program. We appreciate it. Here we are together again on the radio. And I am looking at a story that... easily 50 of you sent in to me today. So I know it's something we need to talk about. 50 of you sent this in. And here it is from the Associated Press. Women's income is lower on average than that of men. Why? By the way, here's another example of something we've said on the air hundreds of times that is now backed up by documentation. People love to say to me, where are the numbers on that? I got the numbers right here. Why do women earn less than men? This is going to really drive women nuts, especially feminists. Here it is. Women generally earn less than men because, in part, they generally work less. They leave the labor force for longer periods. And they tend to hold jobs that pay less. This according to a congressional study. Now, they say that even after adjustments are made for these factors, women still earned an average of 20.3% less than men in 2000. But let's look at other reasons for that, which eventually will be documented and eventually will be proven to you. But let's look at other reasons for this. You get paid more for seniority. The longer you work somewhere, the more you get paid. The more overtime you work, the higher your paycheck. The more you are willing to travel for business, the more valuable you are to a company. Women are not willing to do these things. Generally. So they get paid less. It says here, the study could not explain reasons for earning differences, but noted that experts have speculated the gap could be because of discrimination or the decision by some women to forego career advancement for family-friendly jobs that offer more flexibility and less stress. I don't think discrimination has anything to do with it. Any woman who's willing to come in and work as hard as a man, as many hours as a man, travel as much as a man, have as much education as a man, and be committed to show up 5, 6, 7 days a week, 8, 10, 12, 14 hours a day, like so many men, will get paid like a man. Period. Period. Study said, quote, these decisions may have specific consequences for their career advancement or earnings. However, debate exists about whether these decisions are freely made or influenced by discrimination in society or the workplace. Again, there is no discrimination because you have a vagina. The discrimination is if you're going to take time off to have babies, take time off to nurture your children, take time off to pick up Junior at school, take mental health days, whatever, you're going to get paid less. And you should get paid less. Period. Here's another reason women make less. This is a study now. The study said that men work an average of 2,147 hours a year. That's more than 40 hours a week. Women, average, 1,675 hours. A difference of almost 500 hours a year, or about 10 hours a week. The average woman works about 30 hours a week. The average man, more than 40. Why do you think women get paid less? No surprises here. You've been listening to the Tom Leykis Show. You know it's true. Says here almost 9 of 10 men worked full-time, compared with only 2 of 3 women. So, 90% of men work full-time, 67% of women work full-time. Men out of the labor force, like when they get laid off, fired, terminated, whatever, men out of the workforce an average of 1 week, then they're back to work. Women, 3 weeks. Oh, I need some time off to think. I need to figure out what I'm going to do. I need to get my act together. I need to figure out, yeah. Men have to go right back to work. We don't have any option here. We have to go back to work. Says here the influx of women in the labor force in recent decades has failed to result in significant changes in America's places of work. Now they're all troubled about this. Research suggests that many workplaces still maintain the same policies, practices, and structures that existed when most workers were men who worked full-time 40 hours per week. As a result, there may be a mismatch between the needs of workers with family responsibilities and the structure of the workplace. Tough luck. The needs of the company come first, not the needs of the employee. The company needs to make money. That's why they're in existence. I say this as someone who owns 14 different mutual funds, 3 different individual stocks. You know what? I want your ass in that cubicle every goddamn day. And I want you taking time off for maternity leave, time off to pick up your kid at school. If you don't have time to come into work, I don't think we should be paying you. Period. Anything wrong with that?
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
I was wondering if you could tell me if guys will sleep with girls that they're really not attracted to.
Late at night with a little booze in us.
The Tom Leykis Show.
At 1-800-5800-TOM. Dean is right, guys. Do not call in and ask for tickets to our event tomorrow. We don't have them. The tickets come from The Buzz, 100.7 FM. They have had contests on the air. They've had giveaways. But we do not. If you're a hot chick, we'll get you in. But, no, there's limited capacity, and we cannot get you in unless you're an LA 9 or 10. And I might add a chick. All right? So save Dean the time. Save yourself the dialing. Because there's a lot of dialing going on here. We will get you in if you're a hot chick. Got it? 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Tom on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great.
That's good. You can ask me how I'm doing.
I don't really care how you're doing, and you have the radio turned up, so I care even less. The radio's supposed to be off. Didn't Dean tell you that?
Yeah.
But you ignored him, didn't you?
Pretty much.
Yeah, well, you should be paying it. Well, you should, because if you don't turn it off, we'll hang up, and then you won't be on the air.
Okay, dude, the radio's off.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what can I do for you?
Well, you were saying about there was a poll about the hours worked.
It's not a poll. This was a study done by the United States Congress.
Exactly. Well, isn't it true that women stay home with the children more than the men do?
Of course.
So then the poll would be right.
What poll?
From the United States Congress saying that women
Right.
work,
Well, but the reason for having a study like this is that people keep saying that women get paid less because they are victims of sexism. Which they're not.
No, I don't believe that at all.
Well, that's what people say.
Well, why are they saying that?
Because there's people who want women to be able to show up less hours than us and get paid the same.
Oh, there are.
Pal, you ever read a paper?
Evidently.
Apparently you don't, because this is in the paper all the time.
No, I don't read any, the Washington Post or anything like that.
Well, I'm telling you, that's
I
what
read
happens.
local papers and stuff like that.
Hmm?
But I haven't seen anything in there about it.
Well, pal, this has been an issue for a long time now.
Oh, yeah?
So I'd recommend you crack open something other than the sports section. All right, pal? Warren on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, have you seen my baseball?
What?
Have you seen my baseball?
Are you a crank call, sir?
Have you seen my baseball?
Thank you for calling. Mm-hmm. There you go. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's John on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how's it going, bro?
Okay.
I just wanted to comment about how women get paid less than men because whenever they do show up for work, all they do is bitch and moan about having to work, and they don't get anything done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I worked in an environment, it's an office-type environment, and every 5 minutes, it's just all the women are gabbing to each other about how their back hurts and their kid's sick, and, oh, I got to
right.
get my nails done. And all the guys would just sit there and they would do work, and they're actually being productive. So I think that it's fair that women don't get paid as much as men because they're not as productive whenever they do decide to show up for work.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I think the study's right on, and it's not based on any kind of discrimination or anything like that. It's just based on productivity. I mean, studies have shown, like this one, that men are more productive in any kind of environment than a female.
No doubt about it. And that's why men get paid more, and they deserve to get paid more. Men deserve to get paid more. Women who work as hard as men deserve to get paid the same, but most don't.
And I've encountered the few women that work as hard or harder than men that get paid as much or more than men. But they are very few and far between, and most of them are so stuck up and full of themselves that it's not even worth talking to them.
You are right.
All right, Tom, can you take me out Winona style with a biatch?
Here you go.
When she wants something, man, she don't want to pay for it. She walk right through the door. Walk right through the door.
Biatch. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Coco on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
That lowlife you just had on the phone probably owes back pay and child support. Not all the women are like that. I work my ass off at work. I do more overtime than my husband does.
I'll bet you get paid the same as other men at your job who work as hard as you do.
I do, and more.
All right, so then there's no problem. The women like you who work as hard as a man get paid the same. What's the problem?
It's a problem.
What's the problem?
Is that you have these low-life men. You talk about women leaving work for maternity leave when you have this low-life man who got her pregnant, first of all, and he doesn't have to leave work because she's stuck with the kid. He leaves.
I don't care what the reason. You know what?
Leaves her.
Let me tell you something. As a stockholder in various companies, I really don't care what your personal life is about or your problems.
My personal personal life because I have a good husband.
Your children, what goes on at your home, how hard it is for you to deal with things. Your husband doesn't want to take care of the kids, whatever. Not my problem.
I have with my kids all the time.
Anyone's husband. The point is, anyone who works as hard as a man gets paid like a man. Anyone who doesn't, doesn't.
No, but why can't we work hard as the man? Because we have to take care of his freaking seed.
Well, nobody forces you to get married. Nobody forces you to be with a man. Nobody.
Not at all. Not at all.
So if you don't like men, don't get married. You know what?
To pay their freaking
Brett, are you ready to bleep me?
and take care of their goddamn kids.
If you don't, you know what? If you don't like men, why don't you just lick?
I don't lick baby. I'm strictly dickly. I am strictly dickly, baby.
Strictly dickly.
I got a good man, but I'm talking about these other women who have sick-ass men who can't take care of their freaking kids. Or
Tough luck. You know what? You know who chose these men? Do you know who chose these men? The women who married them.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't, because at first, before they even got married, maybe he was somebody else. They always say you never know who you marry till the honeymoon is over with. And
well, you know what? Then you know what? You shouldn't have kids with people if you're not sure of who you're with. You shouldn't.
Well, I'm sure these women know who they're with.
Well, then if they do, they shouldn't marry people who don't want to take their share of the responsibility for the kids.
Well, come on now. How
I'm
are
serious.
you supposed to know this man?
And why should, as a stockholder, why should I make up the difference for people who make bad choices in their personal lives?
Well, you know what? It's life. It happens.
I don't really care. You know what? I don't care. Can I tell you something? I really don't care. I don't care. I don't give a rat's ass. You know what? If women make bad choices and marry bad men, and therefore they can't make as much as men, tough luck. I don't care.
You know what? That's foolish.
No, it's not. I'm honest. I'm honest. I don't care. I want work to be done at the lowest possible cost with the highest possible productivity. Whatever your personal problems are at home, I don't really care.
That's not my personal problem. That's
anyone's personal problem. I don't care whose personal problem it is. I don't care.
So if your kid gets sick and you have to leave the radio show, who picks up your freaking kid?
Well, that's my point. You know what?
Who picks up your kid, Tom?
I don't have kids. And I don't have kids. You know why I haven't had kids?
Why not?
You know why I haven't had kids? Because I want to do my career. I want that to be my priority in life. And I thought ahead, unlike the various striking supermarket workers and others who got knocked up at 17 and now have no choices in life.
But, okay, so...
And you know I'm right. That's why you're laughing over there. You know I'm right.
To take care of the woman. We're not even supposed to be working.
Well, there you go.
Sit at home.
So women should make less than men. Then you agree with me that women should make less.
No, not when they go into the workforce.
If they don't work as hard as men, they shouldn't get paid as much.
The Tom Leykis Show. This is the Tom Leykis Show.
Yeah, baby. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. We're in Seattle. And we continue with your telephone calls at 1-800-5800-TOM. Women make less than men. Why? Well, the United States Congress did a study, General Accounting Office, and they said in part it's because women generally work less, leave the labor force for longer periods, tend to hold jobs that pay less, and they work almost 500 hours a year less than men on average. Of course they make less. Oh, they're discriminated against. So what? They're not discriminated against. Anybody who wants to work hard will get paid well. End of story. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Let's say hello to Tom on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello, Tom. Let's go to line 6 and Tom. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
All right, Tom. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. Here's my question. I don't understand why women don't get it yet. And by that I mean, I think most men from the time they're, 8, 9, 10 years old, they know at the end of the day, here's what their life is going to be. They're going to work for a living, you know? Mm-hmm. They're socializing that that's what they're going to do. And women, especially with all women's lib and everything that's been going on, why don't they get it yet?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. You tell me.
I don't know. I think, I have someone that works for me, a woman, and guess how many days I've taken off this year? Take a wild guess. I'll help you. None.
None?
None.
Like most guys.
Guess how many she's taken off? About 15. And that doesn't count.
Oh, I need a mental health day. I need time to clear my head.
And you know what, Tom? She's not even a piece of you know what.
Of course she's not.
Because if she was, then 15 days, fine.
Nobody would care.
That's right. But anyways, Tom, that's my point. I just don't understand why women don't get it yet. And I think it might be because for all of our lives as a little boy, from the day I grew up, I knew I was going to have to go work. And maybe I just get it and they don't, and they never will.
Right. And you know you have no choice but to work until you're dead.
That's right. And you know
You
what?
have no choice.
That's right. And you know what? It's fine. You put your head down and you plow forward. That's what you do.
Bing, bang, boom. Tom, thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Sharona on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Pretty good, Sharona.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. God, you know, I had a comment about a woman who called just before this gentleman. I believe her name was Coco. But I'd like to say something about this guy who you were just on the phone with.
Yes.
Number one, women are aware of it. You know, I mean, sometimes it sucks, but we're aware of it, and that's how it is. Women have always been discriminated against. I mean, suck it up and do what you got to do. If you want to make the same amount of money as a man who's working a great job and who works hard, and like this guy said, doesn't take days off, then you do it, and you'll be, you'll achieve well for it. But at the same time, he said something that she's not. What did he say? He says that she takes 15 days off to fire her.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing the same thing. He's taking this woman and he's letting her work for him, but he's bitching. I mean, fire her if it's a problem. Fire her. And back to that woman, she sounded very hateful and extremely bitter. So, and you're absolutely right about the point you made about if women want to do that and make as much money as men at a high position in the workforce, then they should work hard and they should not take days off and they shouldn't complain about children. And, I mean, if you're going to have children, you need to be able to handle that responsibility. You definitely can't work full-time and devote all your time to work if you're going to have children. You do need to know who you're marrying before the honeymoon. And, yes, we as ladies do make the decisions. We control everything in a relationship. You know, if they want to have sex, it's entirely up to when we say yeah or no. They can leave when they choose to, but it's our decision ultimately. So this is no exception. It's our decision to choose who we want to spend the rest of our lives with and who we choose to conceive with. So if we're unhappy, it's the individual's fault.
You know whose fault it is, of course.
It's the woman's fault.
That's right.
It's always the woman's fault. Everything is.
I'm glad you realized that, Sharona.
I'm a woman. I know it.
Of course you do. 5-800-TOM. It's Sergio on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello, Sergio.
Hey, what's going on, Tom?
I'm doing okay.
All right, I'm a college student. I'm 19 years old. I'm working in the retail industry right now, shoe store.
Right.
And I have to pull 12-hour days sometimes because certain coworkers that are female decide not to show up because either their daughter is sick, you know, or they have some sort of emotional problems or they start crying.
Do you get paid more than those women?
What, 10 cents more? No, nothing. I've been there longer, but it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Point is, there's this girl at my work. You know, she has like a 3-year-old daughter. She had her when she was 16, and her daughter's probably been like sick over 20 times this year. She constantly calls in sick, but her daughter usually gets sick on the weekends, which is, you know, kind of weird. But
is that when you work?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have to cut. I work from. I go in at 9. I'm usually off by 4 or 5. I usually have to stay until like 9:30 or 10 because she decides not to show up. She calls in sick or whatever. So, you know, this whole thing about them getting paid less, you know, they deserve to get paid less because they don't like to work. So
they don't like to work and they want to get paid the same as you do.
Yeah, you know, and like they don't even show up to work. What's up with that, man?
That's a very good question, Sergio.
If someone wants to work, you know, they're going to show up and they're going to earn that raise or whatever they want. You know what I mean? But if they're going to show up to work, you know, they shouldn't work at all.
I totally agree with you, Sergio. Thank you. Brianne on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
How you doing?
Great.
And I really do care.
Okay.
First-time caller, but I've been listening for quite a while. And I just have to totally agree with you on this point. I work in an office environment, and I do make the same as everyone else there, including the guys, but I work my butt off. But some of the girls I work with, they should not be making the kind of money they do for what they put in because they do cry and they do pull a bunch of drama that doesn't need to be in the office. So I just think that the women are overreacting, and if they're finding that they're making less, it's because they're not working hard enough. Especially
They don't work. Women don't work as hard as men. They don't work as many hours. They don't lift heavy objects. So, of course, they get paid less.
Huh?
Of course they get paid less.
Well, if you're especially in a manual labor job where you're doing something and you can't perform as well as the guy that's working next to you, the guy deserves more.
No doubt about it.
Working harder.
Yeah, you're right about that. Elizabeth on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Great.
Great. I just want to say also, I agree with the last call, and I agree with you. You're totally right. I'm at work right now, actually. I'm on my 10th hour, and I totally agree. You know, those other ladies that called, they were just griping and complaining. That's probably what they do at work, too. And that's probably why they're not getting as much, and they're full of crap. And I totally agree. If you work hard, you're going to get that money.
They're full of crap. They are full of crap.
They are full of crap, Tom. Those ones that are complaining, well, we got to take care of our kids and my husband. Who cares? That's not what the subject's about, all right? It's about work.
You know what? I really don't care what your husband does or doesn't do, or how much responsibility he does or doesn't take, or how hard it is to have kids and how hard it is to raise them. You know what? Tough luck. Boo freaking who. I don't care.
Exactly. I totally agree with you, Tom. And that's just, she was just full of crap, and she's on the wrong subject, and she needs to call another time when we're talking about boo-hoo stories about kids. And that's all that's about it, you know?
Bing, bang, boom. David on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Tom?
Not much, David. Thank you.
Love your show, love your show. I just wanted to call and say that I totally agree with what you're saying, and I want to thank all the women calling and actually also agreeing with you, even though it's towards them. And you can tell who's right here. You know, all the women calling agreeing with you make total sense, other like the other women calling disagreeing, making total nonsense of what they're trying to say. You know, I also wanted to bring up about the point where, you know, women feel that they can't get paid as much, so they decide to stay home, and then they want to make it seem that they should get paid for staying at home doing what they have to do.
Yeah.
You understand? What do you feel about that? What do you think? Do you think they should get paid for doing housework?
No. They are getting paid. You know how women get paid for doing housework? Their rent is paid. Their groceries are paid. Their clothing is paid. Their mortgage is paid. Their cable TV is paid. Their electric is paid. The gas is paid. The water bill is paid. The clothing for their children are paid. Feeding their kids is paid. Their dream of having children, the prenatal care, the hospitalization, having the baby paid for. Gynecologist paid for. Everything paid for. And on top of that, if they decide they want to bolt or they want to have sex with the mailman or the pool guy or whatever, they can leave and take half of everything we have. I'm tired of hearing women say they want to get paid for doing housework. You know what? You don't want to do housework. Don't get married, you bitches. All of you.
Exactly. See, the thing that I'm saying is that nobody understands what marriage is about anymore. Marriage is making it work as a unity. And, you know, you don't want to be worrying about, oh, I'm going to make more, or I should be making as much as you doing this, doing that.
Right.
There's so much individuality in marriage. You know,
Right.
you have to come home as a whole and say, okay, look, I'm going to bring home the money to support all of you. No, I need your help by taking care of my children and doing the housework and not complaining about it and treating me like a king when I get home since I do all this work. You know what I'm saying?
David, you are absolutely right about that. It's Billy on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
All right, Billy.
I never called in before, but I have been listening, and I think you have a lot of ignorant listeners and a
How
lot
so?
of ignorant callers because women do work hard, and regardless of what
They don't work as hard as men, and they don't deserve to get paid as much.
I will agree with you on that. I will agree with you that women may not work as hard, but it's the same instance when some men don't work as hard and they are getting paid.
I think men who don't get work as hard get paid as much either. I think anyone who doesn't work as hard doesn't get paid as much as the people who do.
And when you have the last fool on the line who said that a woman should have his food ready, you know what? I take care of my 2 children, and my husband respects me. There is no disrespect.
What does that mean, he respects you?
I take care of our children. He brings home the money. I don't complain. He doesn't complain.
Good.
We respect each other. So why
That's
are
great.
we complaining about a woman who has children?
They're complaining about women who demand to get paid the same as men, even though they don't work the same number of days or hours or work as hard as men.
That's not in every instance.
No, it isn't. We're not saying it's in every instance, but on average it is. The average woman works almost 500 hours less per year than the average man.
But then why are men complaining if they don't want those kind of women in their life?
Because women are because women are complaining, and they're saying they deserve to get the same money as men.
You know what?
Women don't deserve it unless they work the same hours, unless they work as many days, as if they're willing to work as many overtime hours, as if they're willing to go on the road and go out of town and do sales calls and all the things that men do. Women are not as willing to do that stuff.
But this is what I agree with. I don't think women should join any type of military. I don't think women should join any type of police or anything that requires hard labor. But I think when it comes to an office environment...
Then they shouldn't get paid as much.
But I think when it comes to an office environment where it's dealing with intellect, I think that women are...
Only if they show up as many hours, and when the cubicles are being moved around at the office, that they lift their own boxes to move their stuff, and when the water runs out of the water cooler, they pick up the Arrowhead bottle themselves and put it on the machine. But generally, women don't, and therefore they deserve less money.
But I must be in a different environment than these people that are calling in there, because these women are they're individuals and they do all their own things and they're very responsible and they all come to work and work is just as hard as the men.
Great. That's wonderful, but you know what? That's not what's happening everywhere else.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
All I heard, I turned on the radio with my son in the car, and all I hear you is you're bitching.
Tough luck.
About single mothers.
Well, maybe you shouldn't listen.
Why are you talking about it?
Maybe you shouldn't listen anymore.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Study comes out explaining why women earn less than men. They don't work as hard as we do. 1-800-5800-866. It's Brandy on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Hi, Brandy.
That's great. Listen, I wanted to say something about how you're saying, or the statistics are saying that women make less than men.
Right.
Well, I support my whole family. That's me, my husband, and my 4 children. Okay?
How old are you?
I'm 26 years old.
And you have 4 kids?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Because I had them, because I wanted them, and I'm supporting them.
Well, wonderful. So you won't be complaining about anything then?
Absolutely not. And
Great.
I work for an auto parts store, and I pick up 75-pound gearboxes.
Good for
I'm
you.
the only woman that works in my store that has gotten a raise, because I'm always coming in on time. I've never called off the entire time that I've worked there. I've came in on my days off. I've worked overtime. I mean, I work for money.
That's why you're doing so well.
Absolutely. You know, and I don't ask anybody for nothing except
Good for you.
except overtime. You want me to stay? Okay, that just means I'll have bigger check for me.
Good for you.
You know, and all these girls that are saying, you know, because I'm agreeing with you, you know, but all these girls that are saying that it's unfair, well, they need to get their head out of their butt and think about a bigger paycheck and spend more time thinking about working and actually working.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. You're absolutely right. I'm tired of women complaining about this stuff. I'm tired of it.
Absolutely. You know, and I had kids and I support them, and I don't complain about going home, and I still do my wifely chores. I still cook dinner. I still clean the house. I
Good
make
for
sure
you.
all the bills are paid.
Doing the wifely chores. I like that.
Absolutely. You know, when I come home from work, I make dinner.
I like that.
Absolutely. I mean, I still do what I'm supposed to do.
Good.
So there's no excuse for those women out there. They can do it. They just have to have the want.
Sounds good to me, Brandy. Thank you for the call. It's Dennis on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom. What's going on, man?
Not much. Doing a radio show. What can I do for you?
Well, see, I think everybody's missing the point. Even if we paid them the same amount that guys make, they'd still miss the same amount. I mean, they miss more hours. So they would still make less. So what difference does it make?
Yeah, but the idea is they want to get paid like a weekly salary and then not have to show up as many hours as men.
Yeah, see, anybody that worked for me like that, you've gone. You know, it's not going to work that way. And
Right.
It's just you can't conduct business that way. As a business owner, it does not work. It's not productive. I just left a company where the women did ask you to pick up a water bottle. Can you pick up the water bottle and put it in for me?
Never. And by the way, I've told the boys, and I'll tell you again, never, ever pick up that water bottle. Don't do it. Just tell them, hey, it's sexist and I'm going to human resources. Do what they do, for Christ's sake. Our email address is my name. It's Tom@blowmeuptom.com. Tom@blowmeuptom.com.
The Tom Leykis